Welcome to the Running Refresh Podcast, where hot takes and debates on the sport of running are more than welcome in the studio and for the good of the sport.
Running Refresh is hosted by Logan Lummel and his refreshing guests.
All right, so today we have the one, the only, Lucas Hofer, Big Daddy Hof, fellow old head, baker. He's a sprinter turned mid-distance runner, maybe a miler. We don't know yet.
Maybe.
Only person that can eat faster than me. He took the title of garbage disposal on the track team.
That's what I'm most proud of.
Yeah. So Lucas has ran 48.07 in the open 4, about almost under 150 in the 800, like 150.1. And introduce yourself. Where are you from? What do you do on a daily basis? And what's like your past with running?
Okay. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on the pod, Logan. I'm originally from Geneseo, Illinois, so I grew up like an hour and a half from Macomb. This is my 6th year at Western, so definitely identify with the old head, like you said. I actually transferred to Western after a year and a half in college, so once I finish up next spring, I'll have been at Western for 4.5 years. Currently a grad student in the sports management master's program, and yeah, like you said, mid-distance runner, maybe miler,
Geneseo,
in the future.
Geneseo, that's a really rough area.
It's pretty rough.
You're like the rose that grew from concrete.
That's right. Yeah, it doesn't get much rougher than Geneseo.
It doesn't get much
Illinois.
harder than Geneseo. Okay, well, on this podcast, I'm your host, Logan Lummel. So I'm a current runner, ex-soccer player, future teacher and coach, and I'm just hoping to provide unique perspectives on running like Lucas Hofer. And you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube at Running Refresh. And I come out with an episode every Sunday at noon. So if you're watching this on Sunday, I hope you're having a great Sunday, and give the podcast a like, follow, and review if you're listening on a podcast service like Spotify. It really helps share the podcast. Let's get right down to business. So, who was the inspiration for your mustache?
For my mustache? Oh my goodness. First of all, I just want to say that I did it before they were cool.
Yeah.
This past summer, mustaches have come back in, but
I did it after they were cool.
You did, yeah. But in all fairness, this has taken me a very long time, and I fear the day that I have to shave this.
How much time a day are you spending on your mustache?
It takes care of itself. I don't have to do too much.
It's they got that length now, that volume.
That's right.
It does it for itself. So, all right, I got 3 mustaches for you. Pick your favorite.
Okay.
Got Freddie Mercury, Hulk Hogan. He's got the handlebars.
Yep.
And Rob Burgundy from Anchorman. Who are you picking?
Freddie Mercury.
Freddie
sure.
Mercury.
Yeah.
You big Queen fan or not?
Yeah.
You just like the stash?
Yeah. Well, both. They're both good.
Okay. As you should. So, yeah, you probably can't tell, but I kind of have a mustache. If you aren't watching on YouTube, you're really missing out. I mean, this guy's got quite the stash going on. If anything, you're probably one of my inspirations for my mustache.
I appreciate that.
And next, so you're a baker.
I am.
So what's in the bread?
It depends, man. I got all sorts of recipes.
Yeah, I've had it before. It's pretty good. I think I had what kind
cinnamon.
did you make?
You made like a cinnamon swirl bread.
Yeah, cinnamon swirl. And you've made like peanut butter bread.
Yeah.
What kinds of bread have you all made?
Banana bread's my favorite. I do a good cinnamon bread.
Have you had like a most challenging bake or like a...
Anytime you have to use like yeast and let the bread rise, and you're talking like real bread, like sandwich bread, like that gets pretty complicated.
Yeah, so are you making your own recipes, or are you kind of following things that you find online?
Mostly online. Big Pinterest guy. My grandma is an inspiration. My mom bakes a lot too, but it seems like every time I'm home with my grandma, she's always like giving me new recipes to try out.
So did you start that from like a younger age, or like when did you start
No,
baking?
honestly, I don't know how it started. I started it just randomly. One weekend I was home and I baked a bread, and then my dad thought it would be funny to buy me a bread pan. So
that's awesome.
He bought me a bread pan, and I just made it a hobby.
So you'd say, so you maybe got into baking then from your grandma?
Yeah, my mom and my grandma both bake a lot. I like to cook a lot at home too. So the Instagram is just for my breads, but I do lots of cooking and baking.
What's your Instagram?
Lucas Loafer.
Lucas Loafer. That's probably the best Instagram because you're Lucas Hofer.
Correct.
But you're a baker, so you're also Lucas Loafer.
Lucas Loafer, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have any like creators that you follow in the space, or?
Honestly, I don't. I'm not like.
It's also your competition, though. You know?
Yeah. I honestly, when I got started in it, like there wasn't like any particular accounts that I was following or anything like that. I just kind of started messing around with it.
Just a maverick,
following friends. Yeah,
awesome.
It's just me.
And then now talking more about running. So unlike many distance runners, mid-distance runners, you started your track life in the sprints. So usually people like me become a distance runner because they can't sprint or, they aren't as athletic, whatever that may be. They aren't as quick, right? So how long were you a sprinter? How did you originally get into track?
I sprinted all throughout high school, even back into junior high. I remember being on 4x1, 4x2 relays. As I got into high school, I started running the 400 quite a bit. Really didn't even start doing that until my sophomore year of high school. Just got thrown on a 4x4 once, and I think I split like 52 seconds. And that was it. I started my life in the 400, life in track. By the time I got into my senior year, I was pretty dedicated in the 400, and I knew that I wanted to run in college.
And where did you end up running in college?
Yeah, so I ended up going to the University of Dubuque right out of high school. I was like a 51-2 guy in high school in the 400, so
which is solid.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Not getting me anywhere like big time. So I went D3 right off the bat. Ran there for one indoor season. Took a year off. Transferred to Western. Ran here. Or when I walked on here, I was still mainly focused on the 400.
Yeah, and you were splitting. I knew you originally as I was a freshman, and you were sophomore.
Yeah, right? I think that season was my second year.
Yeah, like eligibility wise.
My second year at Western would have been my like true junior year of college.
Okay, true junior year of college.
49 high, low 49 splits.
Consistent 49s you're always running. And then when did you start transitioning to the 800?
I had a couple coaches that tried to get me to switch over to the 800. I think I had run my freshman year at Dubuque. I think I had run like a decent 600 time, and they're like, "Yeah, that's going to transfer over to the 800." So I kind of started training with the mid distance group. I wasn't really sold on it at first. I didn't like it. I had a hard time adapting to.
It's a hard life.
2 laps.
It's pretty intense.
Yeah, so it took me a while to finally get into it, but. Eventually it stuck.
Yeah. How many times have you even ran over 2 minutes in the 800 in your life?
I think all in one season, I think I ran 2 flat the first time I ever tried. No, maybe 202, 2 flat. I think I had a 206 strung in there.
How many people can even say that?
Yeah, so I probably ran 2 minutes or above 3 times in my life.
3 times. Yeah, because when I was a freshman, I remember you ran 157 at Grand Valley State, but you didn't look like it was that your first time under 2 or second time or something
So I think sophomore, junior year, I ran just over 2 flat a couple times. Junior year, I really started training for the 8, and then I ran that 157 on my fourth try.
Yeah, and it didn't look like, usually when people are breaking 2 minutes for the first time, they're puking or on their knees or just crawling. I remember the first time I did it, it hurt like nothing that I've ever done before. And I can still vividly, that is probably still to this day the most painful race I've ever had in my life, because it's just such a barrier when you're, when you're at that level.
You had a faster 800 time than me that year. And I remember telling coach at the conference meet, next year I'm going to beat Logan. I'm going to I had gone 157. I ran it one time that season. I'm
sure.
I'm going to be an 800 guy next year.
I probably would have said the same thing after. Well, and you did. That next season after COVID, you had this breakout season. You ran 152 in indoor and then 150 outdoor.
Yeah.
And, you were really consistent this past season. Just couldn't get under 150, but I bet you'll do it.
Trying.
You'll do it this indoor season or outdoor season. You'll definitely do it, and with your work ethic. But now you're also, so you're a sixth year.
I am. Yep.
Yep, you're a sixth year. So, and you're technically a GA this fall for the cross country team. So can you explain the difference between, being an athlete just being a regular athlete on the team and then being a graduate assistant?
Yeah. So first of all, to clarify, I'm a sixth year because I got a medical redshirt my freshman year. Then I got my COVID year. So, it pushed everything back a year.
I'll be a fifth year next year.
Yeah. So fifth year, I had a lot of fun in my fifth year. I'm fortunate to be able to do a sixth year too. Not too many people get to do that. But yeah, when I started in grad school, I started working on campus as well in the admissions office. So I would say the main difference between grad school and undergrad is just that you take less classes as a grad student. So this semester I'm only taking 2 classes. Last year I took 3 classes per semester. I'm just expected to work like 15 to 20 hours wherever you're a GA. So honestly, it hasn't been too bad. I would say it's pretty comparable to undergrad in terms of like time management and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have less schoolwork to do.
Yeah, and then this fall, technically you're on the coaching staff, so you'll be coming with the cross-country meets.
Yeah, I hope to travel along to some cross-country meets. I am doing an internship with Coach. I want to get into coaching after I get out of school, so I've been able to help out with the cross-country team just a little bit before I get back into track next spring.
And then you also have a secret to how you run so fast in the 800. A very odd pre-race routine. So what are your thoughts on baking powder?
Okay, so it's baking soda. I've learned in my time as a chef, there's actually a big difference between baking soda and baking powder. Okay. I don't know what it is, but every time I read a recipe, they're very strict on don't mix up your baking soda and baking powder. But baking soda before races, I think like 4 teaspoons mixed in the water bottle.
Oh my gosh.
It's disgusting, but it has been, I think it's scientifically proven to buffer lactic acid. So
did you find like an article first or like?
Yeah, no, it's a big thing. I mean, if you do your research on it, it's again, I think it's pretty like the evidence is there that it's supposed to like boost your performance by a little
Keep that lactic out of your legs.
In like 800 events and up. So especially in mid-distance events, you can feel it a little bit in that last 200. Your legs don't lock up as much. And
do you always do it now, or do you kind of pick and choose? Is it
it's
championship races?
So it's horrible for you. It's like straight salt basically. So it dehydrates you like crazy. Also a little bit of tummy trouble as well. But so I've tried to back off of it a little bit, but I personally do feel like it helped me race. I've had a couple of my 2 fastest races have both come with baking soda in the belly. Okay. So
do you have a specific brand that you like? Have you experimented with different brands?
No, they all taste bad. It doesn't matter.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
All right. So then looking past collegiate running, you mentioned it a little bit. So like, what is your future in the sport of running as of now?
Yeah, so like I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, I do want to get into coaching. Towards the end of my senior year, I kind of had that breakthrough race, like you mentioned, going 157 down to 152, and that's kind of where I realized, like, I really like track and field. Like this is definitely for me. I've always liked the sport, but breaking through and having that amount of success makes me want to continue doing it after I get out of college. I'm really competitive, so I think going into coaching will just be able to like help me feed that competitive edge.
Yeah, just keep being competitive. And are there like any specific people that you've looked up to that have made you want to be a coach?
Yeah, I've had a lot of good coaches. I mean, personally, again, just having like coaches that help you make that big jump, the big breakthrough. That's what I want to be able to help athletes do. Like it feels really good to go from, again, 157 to 152, like to really be able to mix it up at meets and stuff like that. So, again, I just want to help people to be able to perform to the best of their ability. Okay,
that's awesome. I mean, I want to be a coach too. And it's a good feeling. I've already started coaching in the summers and there's nothing like it.
It is fun, yeah. I can be around the sport year round.
Yeah. So how do you feel about continuing to train through 6 years? Like, that is mentally tough to train at a high level for so long. And do you think that you'll continue to train once you're done with college at all? Or what are your thoughts at the moment?
I haven't thought about it too much. It probably just depends on how this season goes.
True.
I mean, if I break 150 and I have a nice steady, season where I'm going 149 a couple times, I'll probably be content to hang them up. But, if I have a really good breakthrough season again and I can get down into the 148s, then I might try to give it another year.
Yeah. And then, people also tend to move up in distance as they get older. So you're this really solid mid-distance runner, but have you ever considered being, doing some road races, some road miles or 5Ks or stuff like that just for fun, or doing some more easy mileage after you graduate? Or
I used to say that I would never, when I'm done with college track, I'm done running.
You're done.
But now I'm coming around on it a little bit. I would love to run the mile. I wish that I didn't come from a sprint background and my body could handle a little bit more mileage. Because
are you going to be trying to run some more 1500s or miles this year?
Probably not. I mean, that's a big difference between, running the 4.8 and, the 8:15.
Yeah.
You got to log a lot of extra miles as a miler, as a 1500 runner. And I just don't think I can handle it.
There's a transition period there for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I could run the mile on 15 to 20 miles a week in training.
I mean, you had a great time trial, your best mile time trial so far this fall, So who knows?
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So that kind of concludes the interview portion of this episode. So next, I got tons of random questions for you, some silly, some a little more serious.
All right, let's hear it. For
this segment, we call Rapid Refresh, which is a segment where I ask my guests too many questions for them to answer in a timely manner. So you're a big sunglass guy. Do you have a favorite pair or brand of sunglasses?
I'm a big cheapo, so I shop for everything on Amazon. I buy a lot of knockoff brands. I've got my $25 knockoff Pit Viper sunglasses that I like to rep in practice.
I couldn't tell.
Hey,
I didn't know if they were $200 or $20.
Oh, that's good. I guess I'm doing it right. No, I buy all my stuff super cheap.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
I love my $15, $20 Amazon sunglasses.
So rank these three. You got a hill workout, a tempo, and then repeats on the track. What's your favorite? What's your least favorite?
Definitely repeats on the track are my favorite. I probably will put tempo second, to be honest with you.
You like tempos better than hills.
I just hate hills. Hills, it's not that I like tempo. I can do tempos, short tempos obviously, but hills are probably my least favorite thing to do.
I'm a big hills guy. I'm going to be honest with you. All right, so is there anything that you won't eat?
I don't like beans.
Beans?
Yeah, so when we get burritos, when we go post-race, Chipotle, yeah. Always have to get it without beans. There's some vegetables that I avoid, I don't know, maybe not. I'm not as picky, I guess, as I think. There's certain foods that I don't like, but I don't always pick them out, I guess.
And as I've said before, I like to call this guy the garbage disposal.
That's right.
Because literally, I eat so fast. Everybody tells you, Logan, you eat so fast. But I feel like a wimp when we go on trips. This guy is done with his burrito.
He was really offended.
Twiddling his thumbs.
Last semester, a couple of times when I had to be the first one done eating.
Yeah, he literally took the title from me. I felt like a chump. Do you have a most memorable race ever?
Yeah, it's probably the first time I went 152.
And where was that?
That Grand Valley indoor meet. I love that track. I love a good indoor 300-meter track.
And who else was in that race with you?
Yeah, they definitely stole the spotlight from me on that one. Richard and Akeen both ran that race. They both ran 149 low.
Yeah,
put a pretty big gap on me. I finished quite a ways behind them, and
that was pretty.
Seeing those two ahead of me, I didn't think I was going to run as fast as I did, but. It was nice to have them push me through that race.
That was pretty epic to watch.
Yeah.
I remember Western took 1, 2, 3, and everybody was on their feet. Yeah, Grand Valley has a nice facility, got a nice 300 flat track that we ran on a few times.
Yeah.
All right, so related to Richard, who would you trust with your wife, And who would you trust with your life? You got Habibu, who is episode 1,
man.
and Richard, who is episode 2. Who are you trusting with your life, and who are you trusting with your wife?
Yeah, you know there's no good answer to this question.
Why is that?
I guess I'll Richard's a man of many talents. I'll trust him with my life.
Yeah, he could probably like save you from like any situation.
If he were to show up on time, he could definitely save me from most situations.
The scientist.
Unfortunately for Caitlin, that leaves her with Hobby Boo by process of elimination. So love them both, but neither of them would be the ones I go to in a crisis.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, I got 2 words: Under Armour Speed Form.
My favorite spikes.
Your favorite spikes.
I ran in those from my senior year of high school through basically halfway through my senior year of college.
I mean, when was the first race you didn't wear with them? Or like, didn't you get like vapor flies? I don't know the words.
Yeah,
the Zoom Fly, the X, the next person, blah, 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 something like that.
The fast Nike spikes.
Fast Nike spikes.
I ended up getting those for the last race of senior year of college. So, so I ran probably upwards of 50 400s in my Under Armour speed form.
There's you probably have the world record for like the Under Armour speed form.
Yeah, I did. My first 152 came in those speed forms.
Yeah, so. I mean, there's a picture of you just like dropping the mic with 2 speed forms.
Yeah, I got in trouble for that. We're in Adidas school. I wasn't supposed to do that apparently.
Yeah. So, start or anchor a 4x4?
I've only anchored, I think, 2 4x4s in my life, but I love it.
Yeah.
I think from the time I got to Western through last year, I think I let off every 4x4 that I was ever a part of.
The unfortunate thing,
I don't dislike it, but it got kind of watered down. I like the pressure of running later in the relay.
The unfortunate thing for you is that you do have that sprint background, so you are one of the guys that can start out of blocks.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we're a pretty mid-distance heavy team, so half the guys haven't come out of blocks before.
True.
And that's how I kind of ended up in that role.
Yeah. So are you superstitious?
I feel like I am, but I don't do anything that would
besides the baking powder.
Yeah, I feel like I am.
Baking soda?
Baking soda.
Sorry,
I
gotta get that
correct
right.
you. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I am superstitious, but I guess there's no like routines or anything that I do that I have to do on race day.
I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
I used to wear. I used to have like one sock that I wore on my left foot, one sock that I wore on my right foot for all my races.
You are superstitious.
It was only for like half a season.
Okay. Do you have a caffeine of choice?
Oh, all of them.
All of them.
No, my favorite. I love just plain cold brew coffee, preferably from Dunkin'. I like bubblers.
Bubbler. You also like
water.
Bangs.
Oh, I do like Bangs.
I see you with Bangs in your hands.
I drank one of those before the mile time trial the other day. That's probably
ridiculous.
why I had like an 8-second PR.
I've had one Bang and I was like shaking for like a day.
I'm used to it, yeah.
Like
if I don't get like 300 milligrams of caffeine in me right off the bat. Then.
I was like driving through the night back home to Minnesota and I had to have something and I literally was shaking.
It is. It's a good road trip drink.
Favorite place you've ever visited?
Last summer I went on a road trip with Caitlin. We hit 3 national parks in 1 week. So that was pretty cool. We went Theodore Roosevelt National Park. We only stopped there like on the outside of the park for like 30 minutes. But we just drove past it. Stayed a couple days in Glacier National Park in Montana and then hit Badlands National Park in South Dakota on the way back home. So
that's nice.
That was a pretty cool stretch, yeah.
All right, last but not least, how do you feel about being called Big Daddy Hof?
I think you're the only one that calls me that, to be honest.
I don't know when it happened, but I was like, this man.
You go for it, man. If that's what you want to call me, you can do it. I don't think I have any other nicknames or anything.
I mean, people on the team have always called him Hofer because we've had 2 Lucases on the team for a while.
When I first got here, we had 3 Lucases on the team.
3 Lucases. Yeah. So he ended up with Hof.
Yep.
But so now, first, where can they follow you on social media?
I think my My main Instagram handle is just lucas.hofer. The bacon account is lucas.baking.bread, Lucas Loafer.
Lucas Loafer. Just look up Lucas Loafer and Lucas Hofer.
You'll probably find it. I haven't posted on the bread account since like spring. I've still been working on some baking projects, but I don't have the time and energy to post it anymore. Maybe I'll get back into it this fall.
You want to shout out your Pinterest, or are you good?
No, I'm good. I don't have I just have an account to like follow recipes. I don't post anything on there.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. So now you get to sign the table as everybody has, and he's also suggested a new tradition that any guest that is on the podcast can, bring an item to decorate the table or room, like a bib. So
yeah, so you can see the bibs behind me and the flag over here, but the rest of the room is pretty empty.
It's pretty empty.
I've got some plants myself at home. Maybe I'll bring you a little plant for the center of the table sometime.
So next time, I'll let the people know. Hofer brought a plant or a bib or something. I'll point it out.
Basically, you just have to outdo the person before you. Okay. You got to bring you a better gift.
Perfect. Hopefully, I end up with some nice equipment.
All right.
All right, so sign the table wherever you'd like.
Anywhere I want. I'm just going to go right in front of me.
Now, if you've listened all the way to the end, please like, subscribe, leave a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Share it with your mommy, your daddy, your bald-headed granny, as Everett Silva would say. But that's all I've got from me and the stash, Lucas Hofer. You got anything else?
No, I'm kind of embarrassed about my signature, but it's too late now. This is a permanent marker, and that's it.
That's it. All right, that's all, folks.